Hi everyone and welcome to another edition of City Spotlight. I'm your host Pablo Pereira. Today we continue our special business preview series here at the Calabasas Commons that's now been open for 14 years. Well, one of the first businesses to sign up was the Marmalade Cafe that continues to do great business here in the Commons. In fact, business is so good for them, they've just signed another 15-year lease. So for today's business preview series, we wanted to talk to the owner and find out why they do so well and, of course, taste some of the food too. Let's go inside and check it out. So you were just talking about this business, and it's not for the weak or the faint at heart and things like that, is it?
Right. To get into this business, you really have to be really dedicated to dealing with a lot of employees, making customers happy, and dealing with a lot of moving parts on a day-to-day basis. It takes a certain kind of personality to really want to be in the restaurant industry. Someone that really loves, has a strong passion, will be very successful in this business.
You mentioned earlier that you're on the state restaurant board.
Right. I sit on the board as a director on the California Restaurant Association. I've been doing it for the last 15, 20 years, and one of the reasons why I love it so much is that we take our success and we were able to put back into our industry and our communities. And we go to Sacramento, I go there several times a year to meet with our legislators to make sure they understand how the restaurant industry works and how they can pass legislation or not pass legislation which is going to be detrimental to our industry.
You're a competitive business, certainly.
Yes.
You have competitors and things like that, but you also share a position on an association, so you have interest in everybody succeeding.
That's correct. The association, basically, it's in our best interest that every restaurant is successful in California. That's what's going to make our local economies very strong. And so we represent every single restaurant doing business here. And most of the restaurants are made up of independent restaurant operators, and we're able to leverage our expertise and our experience and able to help the independent operator to be successful. And that's really what our goal is.
So you've been here 14 years since the Commons opened, is that right?
We've been in business in total since 1990, and the Commons opened in November of 1998. And we were from day one.
So as part of the association, then, you have a pretty keen knowledge of how this industry works, what makes a successful business.
Yes.
But you've been on the same piece of real estate for 14 years here, but everything around you see kind of coming and going.
Correct.
And changing. What's going on?
Well, basically, our concept is a neighborhood cafe. When we built the restaurants, we built them, and particularly in Calabasas, we built this one with 2 patios and designed in such a way that it becomes your local neighborhood cafe. The menus are designed breakfast, lunch, and dinner, so there's a wide variety of choices, so it satisfies different generations, different types of cuisine, and that's really that's your staying power. And our employees are very committed to our concept and very committed to Marmalade, and they stay for a long time. And our employees are the ones that make us very successful here because they know every customer coming in the door, they know how to satisfy the customer, they know their allergies, they know exactly their likes and their dislikes. And that's really keeping a pulse on your business, keeping a pulse on the details and the changing your menu according to the times and just satisfying your customers.
Right, but despite your good model, others have not necessarily either had a good model or it's just been an economic time that's caused problems. Thinking outside of your restaurant for a minute, why do you think these restaurants come and go in this area? This is a pretty good area to open.
It's a very good area. It's a great area. We love doing business in Calabasas. I think one of the problems a lot of restaurants may be part of have 1 or 2 other restaurants in different areas and come in with a very high-end model. And sometimes the high-end model doesn't satisfy the customer eating here on a day-to-day basis because this is a neighborhood area. This is people eat once or twice a week in this particular location. And I think when you're too high-end, it becomes a barrier and people only eat there once a month on special occasions. That in many areas has been a challenge.
Yeah, so then you talk about what people like, and you've got this model of kind of full service, that's not 24/7, but it's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. How do you think that you guys continue to do so well in what has been a pretty lousy economy for the past few years?
I think our customers are very loyal to our brand. And I think they know that we're reliable, and they know that we are consistent, and we take care of the customers. So whenever you have any kind of downturn in the economy, which we saw since 1997 for like a very serious downturn in those 3 years, 98, 99, and 2010, this restaurant stayed very strong, and it became a place where people felt very comfortable. People felt they could come in, and maybe they cut down the eating out the expenses.
Let me re-ask that, because I think you took dates and went from 97 to 98 to 2010.
Right.
So I just want to make sure I get this
Yes,
right.
yes.
So we're talking about the most recent economic downturn.
You mean like in 2011, 2012?
Well, I don't know if it's over yet, is it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's maybe the better question.
Well, I don't think it's over either, but I think what people feel comfortable while they come here is that instead of spending maybe $15, $20 a person, there are a lot of items on the menu that they can spend $10. They don't have to feel obligated to spend $20 or $30 a year. So that makes people feel very comfortable that depending on the economic climate, it's up to them how much they want to spend.
So you probably didn't think we were going to have a whole business model discussion, did you? So let's get
I love it. I love the
Let's talk about how you opened the restaurant and why you opened the restaurant, who you opened it with, and where the name came from.
Right.
Maybe.
It's actually interesting. We opened our first location in Santa Monica, and we wanted to create a place that people felt really comfortable, and they come in, they can have like a breakfast in the morning, lunch, reliable delivery. We came up with a name. In fact, my two partners are Bonnie and Bobby Burns, and Bobby, who's really great with food, and he gets a real feel for the food part of the concept. He opened up a cookbook and he said, "How does the name Marmalade sound?" So we all said, "Oh my God, that's fantastic," because it reminds us of our grandparents, homemade cooking, standing in the kitchen with your grandmother while she's cooking. It just created that. It was just the right feel. The name was right for our concept.
So that's the concept, but does that hold anything near and dear to your heart from your growing up with your grandmother, or no?
Just the name Marmalade, the connotation is just good, fresh food.
But where did you grow up?
I grew up in Cape Town, South Africa.
Okay, so how did a kid from Cape Town end up here?
Well, basically I traveled for a year, and then I landed up in Los Angeles. And I had my first position was the controller for a group of restaurants, and that was my first introduction to the restaurants. And the president of that group was Elizabeth Burns, and she was the first female president of the California Restaurant Association. She was my mentor. So that's how I got into the restaurants.
So this is something that the more people I talk to, it seems that you either have a passion for this or you don't.
That's correct. It's totally a passion-driven business. If someone feels that they're going to open a restaurant and make a fortune in the first few years, they shouldn't get into this business. This is a business which you have to be dedicated to your customers, dedicated to your employees, dedicated to the quality of food, and it takes 24/7 of dedication to make an operation successful. And to find the right people that feel the same way as you is very difficult. And when you do find the right people that feel the same way, you do very, very well.
I guess the payoff is when you hear reviews and previews and things like that. And I believe I read somewhere recently in one of the local papers that this continues to be Calabasas residents' favorite restaurant.
Right. And I think it's the relationship we have with the customers. I'll come into the restaurant many, many times, and I'll speak to 10, 15 tables, and people they'll tell us that we just did a major remodel of the restaurant, and obviously we're very concerned. We want to make sure that our customers are really happy with the remodel, and it's wonderful to see the reaction. People walk in, they're just so thrilled that we've got the restaurant ready for the next 15, 20 years, and a much more comfortable restaurant. So we really try to satisfy the needs of the customer, and we're continuously looking at ourselves and saying, what can we do better to make our customer happy, and choosing Marmalade. We appreciate that the customer chooses us once, twice, 3 times a week, and we become their favorite neighborhood place.
So how has the restaurant changed over the 14 years, other than a remodel, which
Right.
is just obvious?
I think you look at your food, and we really look to see what the trends are. We like to be conscious of how we eat, and we look at the product mix, what sells every month, and those items which don't move, which customers don't like and aren't selling a high volume, to enable the freshness in the restaurant, we remove them off the menu and introduce new items. So we're continuously going through the process of updating our menus and understanding what our customer wants. We try to make sure, like for example, children, we upgrade our menu for our kids' menu all the time. We have private parties. We make sure that they're affordable. People can decide how much they want to spend, and it's within their budget. So we're continuously looking at ourselves and how we can improve. And then we look at the environment, and we see when the economy is bad, for example, we haven't changed prices in this restaurant for years. We sensitive to the fact that even though food prices are going up, the cost of food is going up, we want to make sure our customers can afford and to enjoy Marmalade.
So you've kind of become the anchor of the Commons, some would say. I mean, you have a good location.
Yes.
You've got a movie theater right here. You have a courtyard right here. You've really got a good location.
We love
here.
being in Calabasas, and we love being in this location because we feel that we are a big draw to the shopping center. And I love sharing this with our landlord, and I always say on a Saturday and a Sunday morning, before any other retail stores have opened at 11 o'clock, we've had 500 people, 400 to 500 people have come through our doors before the center even opens. And so it's very exciting for other businesses in the area that we can bring so many people into this area.
And you have kind of a motto you were talking about for success?
Well, we feel that is the happy employees make happy food, make happy customers. Sounds very simple, and it sounds simple to execute, but it takes a lot of passion and a lot of dedication to achieve that.
So how often are you at this location?
I come here about 2-3 times a week.
2 or 3 times a week?
Yeah, I come here quite often.
And you have 8?
We have 9 locations.
9 locations.
We're opening 2 at the Los Angeles airport in the next few months.
Why do you come here so often?
Well, you want to keep the relationship with everyone that works here. You want to make sure that your customers see that you are involved, and we're really involved. And what happens? I come here, we get involved in a lot of community events, and I meet a lot of customers. We set up these community events based on this location. It's a continuous. You continuously have to be watching your business. If you don't watch your business, you won't be around for the next 20 years.
So you honestly know some people sitting in here today?
I will know some people. I haven't looked around the dining room.
Let's look around. Is there anybody here you see, just off the top of your head? It's a little test.
Yeah, it's early in the morning.
Too early?
Yeah, too early in the morning.
Your friends come in later?
Yeah, a lot of my friends, but we're looking at everyone as friends. Yeah.
So where do you see the restaurant in the next 15 years then? I mean, how do you stay relevant in this area?
I think you stay relevant by keeping your concept looking fresh, by remodeling and touching it up and maintaining it well, and making sure your employees are well looked after, that they're happy working in your establishment, and that your food stays current. And that the most important thing, one of the most important things, that the customer feels they get value when they eat at your establishment. You've got many competitors, and customers have the privilege of choosing wherever they want to go. And we feel very privileged that they choose our location for a lot of reasons, and they feel they want to spend their hard-earned money in our locations because they're getting value. And your value means basically that it's not exorbitantly expensive. They feel they're getting good quality food for the price they pay.
And do you cook?
I'm not I can cook. I don't claim to be an expert cook by no means.
So you prefer to eat out?
Well, eat in the restaurants.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
It's actually interesting. People say, "Oh, how do you stay in reasonably good shape?" I said, "I eat in our restaurants because we cook with in a healthy way. We don't, and there are a lot of choices of the menu like we just put on the menu a Tuscan bean soup. It's completely vegan. It's broth. it's got squash in it, it's got Tuscan beans in it, and it's a whole meal to itself. And you don't have to go and eat a heavy meal, and just watch what you eat and enjoy it, and it can be tasty and great.
And how long have you worked here?
I work for, since the opening here, but I working for Marmalade for 17 years.
17 years you've been here. Wow. How do you stay motivated to work here so long?
Well, I feel comfortable to working in here. And I find a place where I feel like part of our family, all my guys. And it's something that made me motivated every single day, working every single day, and make me happy.
So what is your philosophy for the foods you make? What do you want people to come away with when they eat here?
Every one of my guys always try to do something they like, and something that make the customer happy. That's the first thing, and that's my philosophy by the people coming here,
You work in kind of an open-air kitchen that brings the kitchen into the restaurant. So everybody's kind of always watching what you're doing, aren't they?
Absolutely. It's always watching what I'm doing. Or most of the customers, most of the time, it's open the kitchen so they can see my guys, they can see all my cooks, so they can see what we're doing. Sometimes some of the customers, even they step up front and just watching to us how we're doing.
Do you like that?
I'm fine, absolutely. If they make the customer happy and comfortable, I like it. And that's something we enjoy when our customers see what we're doing.
So are you married?
Yes,
Do you cook for your wife or does she cook for you?
she cooked for me.
What do you like to eat when you go home? What does she make this year?
Well, I'm a Mexican. I prefer always she cooking a Mexican food. She's a Mexican too, so that's why she always cooking at home. And most of the time I go back and home late, so I don't got that much time to cook at home. But
So what are you going to make for us today?
and here we will start with tortilla scramble. Start with jalapenos, onions.
Everything's made from scratch.
Everything is made from scratch. Everything is fresh. There is a turkey sausage, tomato for our tortilla scramble. Here we will start the pan roast chicken.
So you're pretty good at doing 3 or 4 things at one time?
Absolutely, that's something we have to, like all my cooks have to can do it 1, 3, 4 things at a time because we are busy place. We're not can waiting for just do one at a time, So we have to keep going.
That would be hard for me. I'd probably burn one of the 3 or 4 things.
We'll make with regular eggs, regular fresh eggs.
Right.
Then,
So you say that soup is really kind of a whole meal, isn't it?
absolutely it is. It's completely like they have all vegetables. They have serve it here nice.
Smells good.
It smells and tastes good. You should, after you try, you will see it.
Who's a better cook, you or your wife?
Well, I can say hurt. You know?
Really?
If you don't say hurt, well,
Oh, that's true. You got
I'll be
to.
in trouble. Okay, my tortilla scrambled. They come with tortilla strips inside. My Tuscan white bean soup. That's a fresh roasted pumpkin seeds.
Oh, you put pumpkin seeds.
Absolutely, even nice and crunchy taste. So that's our Tuscan white beans. Okay, we were working on a pan roast chicken. It's a nice and fresh chicken. Yeah, for dinner, absolutely, it's one of the signature dishes for our dinner.
And so what are we doing?
Seasoning with salt and pepper in here.
Uh-huh.
Nice color with salt and pepper both sides. Then our oil is nice and hot. Let it sit down there for a while. Our tortilla scramble working on it.
serve breakfast all day, or?
Well, we serve breakfast until 2, like Monday to Friday.
Right.
Like Saturday to Sunday, we serve breakfast until 2, but that's including brunch. So that's the way it is. That's our tortilla. Then here we use black beans at the middle.
Grilled
Milk,
cheese sandwich.
cheese. That's the scallop potato. I want to start with the Parmesan. Like tablespoon of bell paese cheese. Nice. Get that color on the chicken. Nice and brown. Very nice and tasty Martian sauce. Our parmesan. So something just a nice presentation. And at the end, we just garnish with nice and fresh thyme, give a nice smell. So that's a pan roast chicken, serving with the scallop potatoes.
So do you guys come here a lot?
A lot.
What do you like about this restaurant?
I like the ambience. I like that it's outside and they always have music and people walking around. And during the day, there's a lot of, nice weather and good food.
It's just fun and the food is good. And we were just like at the Calabasas Swim and Tennis Center, so that's why we came here. So we were hungry.
Okay. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of City Spotlight. We hope you've enjoyed the program. More importantly, next time you're here at the Calabasas Commons, why not check out Marmalade Cafe? It's one of locals' favorite restaurants. For more information on this program or any of our City Spotlights, you can log on to our website at cityofcalabasas.com. I'm Pablo Pereira. Thanks for joining us.